Alrighty, should be good to go. Good evening, everybody. Give everybody just a moment here. Happy Labor Day to everybody. What's up, what's up, what's up? All right. All right. Good evening. Yeah, what's up? Happy Labor Day to you, everybody. All right, we'll give everybody just a moment here to hop on. And we'll go ahead and get started. So about 3 or 4 minutes here. And we'll go ahead and get it going. How was y'all's weekend? Hopefully you guys had a good one, nice and relaxing. All right. Yo, what's up, Tony? Good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening. Make sure to drop a hello in the chat, so I know you guys are with me. Yo, what's up? It's nice to know who we got. A lot of you guys from the Discord. What's up, everybody? All right, let me turn on my fan. Hot in here. All right, just a moment, and we will go ahead and get this thing started. About a minute and a half. All right, let's get it going. Whoa. Pause. FTFT, we'll take a look at it. What's up, everybody? All right. Nice to see you guys as well, as always. All right, let me pull up the Discord really quick. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna go over just some brief news over the weekend, but really we're gonna dig into some long-term charts, looking at higher time frames. Obviously, looking at really narrowing in at lower time frames on weekends can be not so a great idea. But we will be taking a look at good high probability setups as well as your guys' requests. So. All right. All right, let's do it. All right, we got 13 people on the live. That's enough for me. All right, so Right off the bat, guys. Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of them moving this weekend. So one of the things that we're going to be watching are NFT and any type of crypto-related stocks, TCATs, Riots, Maras, all that good stuff. So that's one of the top headlines, and as it should be, because that's one of the biggest money movers over the weekend. So let's go ahead and pull this up. Oh, I got the wrong article. There we go. So last week, closing prints, we had the S&P up 0.48%. We had the NASDAQ up 1.38%. The Russell, that was up 0.60% through the week. And the Dow Jones was down 0.29. Thanks, Adam. You're looking good as ever. Thanks, man. I was choked on that one. Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for the likes. I appreciate it. Those of you guys on TikTok, apparently that's what the algorithms like, are the likes. If I cough, if I'm coughing this evening, guys, I apologize. I don't think I got a bug. Got something trying me, but we don't get tried here. Okay, so let's. I'm just kidding. So let's go ahead and we're just going to dive right into those major ETFs, guys. Most of the things that I want to cover specifically are going to be covered in the morning. I'm going to be up tomorrow. It's Tuesday. We got a short week. I'm going to be up I'll be up at like 5 o'clock, but I'm going to try to be on live a little bit earlier than that. Hold on. Let me turn on crisp real quick. One second, guys. All right. I think that should have worked. Can you guys hear any clapping or anything like that? Snapping? Testing? Testing. I had to turn the noise silencer. Good evening. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Can I take a look at mRNA, NVIDIA, and Apple? Yes. So what I'm going to be doing tonight as well as I take your guys' request is I'm going to be writing down these stocks, and I'm going to be putting a star next to the ones that I like, and I'll just post a picture in the Discord on the ones that I set a star next to. And those will probably be more of the high probability setups that caught my eye. So if I see them, I like them, I will let you know. But I will for sure. Yeah, rest in peace, Michael K. Williams, man. Doc U, yo, that's funny. I have Doc U written down. Do you prepare for trading at 5 a.m.? I wouldn't say that it's necessary. If you're scalping the bell, and you're looking for high momentum, maybe being up earlier is better. You want to get a feel of the market as you go into it. If you're a swing trader, I think that like an overnight swing trader, then maybe you only need to wait, like uh, an hour or two before the bell. But for me, obviously I'm working with a lot of people, and I trade pennies. I trade all sorts of things, and I think keeping myself diversified doesn't keep my head burrowed in one strategy and kind of put those blinders on. So, uh, hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, I appreciate those reshares. All right, Amazon. Yeah, link is in the bio. We're taking those requests. We're actually going to do this right here. Right. Okay. Can I look at Amazon? Yeah, let me write these down. Give me 1 second. So we got FT, FT, ASTS, any, um, ROKU, of course, MRNA. We're gonna get the video in there. Apple. All right, let's go. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. I think we need to look at our ETFs. We need to know where we're at in the market. I've got a meme up there right now. So we've been we know where we're at as far as SPY. We know where we're at as far as this channel is concerned. I think one of the things that I've said multiple times about when you hit a resistance, if you don't springboard or reject it, right, you might trade flat, right? You might get flat price action. And for the most part, that flat price action, which we've seen multiple times, like here, and I can kind of bring this down. So we've seen these flat, right, rejections here, and it trades flat, but that only inevitably gives it more room to go higher based off the channel that, right? And this is a strategy that I use for swing trading. Okay, so swing trading strategy, that big long channel with Microsoft, Apple, all of them kind of in those. So when you get up against those resistances, a lot of the times you'll hit it and you'll trade flat. So that's kind of what we have going on with SPY, literally trading flat. Now this is one of those things where you don't want to get overzealous in your opinions or your convictions. It's not the housing market or anything like that. So in this case, unless it breaks range, then we can take it to said side, upside, downside. But as it trades flat and remains in this range, it gives us more room to shoot to the upside, which gives the illusion, maybe not the illusion, but does in a way give you the illusion of continuation to the upside. So this whole entire month or couple of months has felt like a giant bull trap in a way, where you make those highs, they jerk you around a little bit, and then you resume trade flat and then go over it again. Alcola. That's actually one of my favorite stocks. I used to trade that down at like $7 or $8, I think. Close is squeezing this week. Take a look at it, man, for sure. What are you looking at? The short float? Are we re shorted? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. So anyway, with SPY, for me, I'm looking at the previous wick fill, which is at 254.68, but inevitably 250 or 455. Excuse me, guys, if you hear me mix up fours and twos and stuff like that, that's the dyslexia. I apologize. But the 450, 454.65, and then 455 to the upside. But in the grand scheme of things, it's just important to know where we're at in regards to this daily channel that SPY is currently in. And let's see there. So that's currently where we're at the top of that channel resistance. Not a lot of room to run. We have seen, though, in previous sessions on SPY, look here, that just because we hit that resistance and trade flat doesn't mean that we're going to break it. A lot of times it just consolidates, and then you get a really, really strong pullback. So, and that's happened multiple times. So, anyway, let's go look at the Qs. Same thing with the Qs. Now, every time I do this, my channel lines go bananas. So let's see if I can correct that really quick. But the price could be good. They've been shorting the share at least 2 months. That has just been buying dark pools. I'll take a look at it. We have a dark pool thing in our chat. So this one, like most tech, is inside of these big channels, right? Qs. I apologize. Whoops. All right. So I don't know why my resistance is so messed up. Excuse me. Oops, I just deleted all my lines. All right, let's try that again. All right, so Qs, channel, I think we still have further room to the upside. I'm just giving this one simple 388.83. Trading view, please stop deleting all my lines. You make it really hard for me to switch time frames and then switch back. Interesting. Okay. All right. So sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulty there. Um, IWM. We've kind of got this one on lock so far, as far as like catching its bounces, catching its breakouts. But going into this for next week, you guys can see, and I talked about this, those of you in the Discord, I talked about this this ascending wedge, excuse me, that I was seeing on IWM, and lo and behold, we have spilled over. This usually any type of rising consolidating price action with drastic highs and drastic lows and tight consolidating price action like this, which could be considered a rising wedge. A lot of the times you'll get that pullback. So I think that we're going right back to 220 or 225.50 for a little pullback, and at that point I do suspect a bounce. That is the hourly 500 HMA. Those of you who don't know what that is, the HMA is just a smoother, more liquid moving average, and then adjusting the time frame is just adjusting the calculations that create that EMA, so or create that moving average. So in this case, I'm using 500 days of data, where a 200-day EMA, right? Whether depending on how that data is calculated with the EMA or HMA, you could that's a 200 days of data. So um, yeah, for sure. All right, so that's the Russell. Expecting a little pullback there. Dow, it's pretty simple here, guys. We're in this wild little little channel here, zone. So as long as the Dow stays in this zone here, you can suspect it. And here's the deal: you could trade flat straight into support, or you could break out of this channel to the downside and retest that support. But you can see right here, the Dow still hanging out in this channel, just very, very heavily consolidated. Actually, kind of reminding me of similar movement back here, right? This was from July 22nd to August 4th, and here, and we made a move to the upside in that case, and that was where we had this support, and then we ended up having this channel right here and heavily pulled back. So uh, would you use SMA or EMA for swing trading? Yes, EMAs 20, 50, and 200. That is a part of my swing trading strategy. For me, what I like to look for is I like to look for accumulation under that 200-day EMA or that major moving average. I like to obviously be looking at a stock that I know is good stock, right? Like, and I'm keeping it simple because you don't need to be a fundamental an analyst to know every single swing trade that you take. But if it's Apple, if it's Microsoft, if it's things like that that you can catch and trend, then a lot of the times you can wait for that type of accumulation. And a lot of the times for me, what I look for is I look for the 20, the 50 to be very tightly consolidated with the 9-day moving average, not EMA, but the 9. So don't let that confuse you. The 9 is one of the more commonly used moving averages. But when they're together and looking to cross over said EMA 200, a lot of the times up or down, that price will spill over. So um but yes, SMA, EMA for swing trading for sure. 500 for the HMA. Okay, for sure. Yeah, I got most of these stocks written down. Docu. Okay. Alrighty, so we got the Dow. Got all these major indexes. Now as far as the climate going into next week, this is important. right? This is the most important because we can chart and anything can happen, right? That we don't, it's more important to do what we're doing now in the morning, but it's good to have a sense of direction going into the morning. This is beautiful. So we're going to go to, what is it? Briefing. All right. Calendars. Oops. All right, so we got to take a look at the week ahead. This is one of the more important things that we do as far as trading and getting an understanding of what's ahead. And I think that I nailed the week last week as far as what was gonna potentially happen. I had a feeling that the beginning of the week was going to go well, and then towards the end of the week, when that data came in, we were going to see either heavily consolidated price action. And before we move into breaking down stocks, we're going to go look at Friday's price action, and I'm going to prove to you why you don't have to trade on Fridays, because Fridays are usually priced in. So, what time frame of candles do you like to use for swing trading? So for overnight swings, I need to look at the hourly. I want to see how it closed, what it looked like when it did. Um, and I think from that, looking at the daily setup, right? Looking for a higher probability setup on the daily time frame. That's going to give you an indication on whether that trade's good to the upside or the downside. What's up, everybody? Um, just letting everybody know, tagging everybody. Kind of bad about social media stuff, I have to admit. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. So next week opening. Um, what are you talking about? My hair's. I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay. So we have 3 days of data coming in. We have the September 8th, and that is the oh, excuse me. We have today, which obviously nothing going on here. Mortgage applications, relatively low impact. Beige book, consumer credit, job openings. Um, Job openings can have a medium, but I think that's probably we already got a good understanding of where we're at with that. But the initial claims, continuing claims, always going to be relatively high impact. EIA crude oil inventories, higher impact PPI, core PPI, and wholesale inventory. So we got the economic data for the rest of the week, so we know what we're looking at. Now, let's go look at some of our. Someone name a stock. Name a stock that we would scalp. I'll let you guys pick one. You and no, my hair is not carrot color. If you want my hair carrot color, you gotta send me $500, and I'll go dye it orange right now. $1,000. I take it back. $1,000, and I'll go dye it orange. All right, Roku. Let's go look at Roku. Let's go look at Friday. Okay, so as far as options are concerned, right? We need to have continuation. And we also know one thing, right? That weeklies are going to tear our ass to pieces. Probably so. Because you either are in and out and taking profit, or you're grabbing something cheap that somebody's lost their money on out of the money and hoping that it may hit, right? There's two scenarios there. Both drain people because people will say, they're $20 a piece, right? We got 3 hours left in the day. I'll buy 30 of these contracts, right? In 20 minutes, and within a red candle or two, or a candle that's against your favor, it's probable that you're going to lose that money, and it does add up, especially if you have a small account. So let's look at Roku, right? Now, Fridays are notorious. The Bell did offer a good scalping opportunity. That is relatively rare. If you go look at some of the other stocks, not as much movement. And Friday wasn't bad, right? But Friday after 10 o'clock, so this is the hourly candle, that's 10. You get the dip here, right? The dip wasn't bad. Now this rebounds all the way back up from the low of 330 and retest 345. And then you just chop for the rest of the day. So you get most of that price action. So this is more friendly to scalpers, right? And swingers, and people can head in towards the end of the day and see how that finished. But let's go look at Facebook. This is a better example. I don't really have to say anything. I'm just gonna let you know that this is Captain Lose Money right here. Look at that price action. Well, we're going somewhere to the nope, and then just a whole bunch of nopes for the rest of the day. This is a great example on why if you don't see higher highs after 10 o'clock, either get out of there or wait till the end of the day, because or wait for some type of news, because most of the time, like, it's not gonna you're gonna have to be quick. I mean, it was crazy. For those of you who were watching Tesla, we were all watching Tesla short, right? And then I eventually just I pulled out of the trade. It wasn't going anyway, right? And I look back, and this is a retail's ascending triangle or descending triangle, right? So we'll flip this upside down, and I'm almost done, guys. I promise. So look at that. You've got a little ascending triangle, 1, 2, 3 taps there. Everybody gets excited, and then it reverses, completely dumps on you. And one way that you can see this is you make a double top here, right? You make a high, you make a lower high, and then you don't even really make a lower low. You completely bounce, double top, and you head right back up. Actually, in this case, and which, if you guys look at those options, if you would have put like literally the worth of the options at the end of the day was absolutely nuts. Which is why I tell people that if you're gonna play weeklies, guys, it is totally okay to not trade on Fridays, and there are better ways to better places to put your money. Um, we're going to be talking a lot more about utilizing the money that you make into opening up cash. Like, you could, if you own Apple shares, or you're a long-term holder, or you just have shares of company, you should be utilizing and selling covered calls. And if you want to do that on a Friday or something like that, like, I would highly recommend people do sell, right? Where in a market where 80% of the options are going to expire worthless, it's probably best to sell them. So Nadim, I had a long weekend, man. I do apologize. I will get to your email as soon as possible, likely tonight. So um yeah. All right. So anyway, that's kind of it with Tesla and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get to these charts. FTFT. All right. So Google. All right, we'll take a few more. BRKA. Are you talking about good for scalping on Fridays? All right, we'll stop at 15. But and those of you who we do have I do have something for I've made a post on YouTube about making custom videos for people. Um, I have something a little bit more interesting than that. I've got a page opening up on Patreon, so that way I can make that stuff happen. So I haven't done Docu, no. I'm sorry. I'll go ahead and start. I'm starting right now on FTFT, so I had to rant about a few things. Okay, so FTFT, I was just gonna say you're holding support right now at 231. It seems that the 200-day EMA is a significant resistance right here. This was a combination of the 50 and the 200, but you do see a similar rejection here, and you do end up seeing a bit of a rejection here. Um, it does look like this is one of those stocks that I don't know if this was news related, but it does appear that this stock is pumped and dumped here and there periodically. Um, you can see that it has these big spikes and then just pulls back and sits flat. So, um, honestly, this is probably one of those stocks that's going to be more fundamental than anything else. I think that as far as your volume is concerned, the volume right now is very high. In retrospect to some of your previous moves, you did see similar volume here and similar volume here. So I don't know if there's a short squeeze potential or anything like that. But as far as the chart is concerned, I would venture to guess anywhere below this daily 50-day EMA, which is at 275, you will likely see continued downside. And I would use the 200-day EMA at 326 as a major moving average to finish above with a daily candle close above with good volume and good news for potential movement to the upside. So that one does not really have a high probability setup. The only thing that I do look for is if a stock doesn't break a level to the downside and it continues to just trade flat, it's just one of those, it's a matter of time before it goes back up. It's almost as if when people forget about it. So it looks like Bitcoin's about to put on a little bit of a show with a HMA crossover here. 9-day moving average, 20-day. Going for that crossover there, not too bad. Nice. All right. Charting. Oh man. Um, all right. So I believe this is the last run we saw was I know a lot of people were gonna short it. But it ended up being a good thing. I think they ended up rebounding. ASTS runs with space. I would actually probably okay, so this is yes. Look at the gap up, same day, gap up, and right here, okay, they held, space held, and ASTS pulled back pretty hard. They had their earnings and I think they had their launch, and their launch exploded, but they launched something, which I guess was better than nothing. And they rebound with an EMA crossover to the upside. Now, this is another one of those stocks that there's very little technicals here. This is speculatory, and you see that in the price action. I think there might be like lower time frame setups that you may see. But as far as like what I can see so far, I don't, excuse me. I don't really see much. I do see this kind of ugly looking reversal pattern up here at these highs. That's never good. That's usually some type of downside. I would suspect you're going to see a pullback to 11 or 1105. Um, you got it. Um, okay, so that's what I would suspect. This is a classic hourly reversal pattern. I would look at a potential entry around 1205, break of $12, and this is for a short position. I would probably add to my position at the break here, probably at this low 1156, and then start trimming out of that trade. Or excuse me, let me pull that back up right there at 1175, and then looking for that pullback at 1150, and of course 1118, $11 flat. So from there, like I said, this is speculatory, so it's kind of one of those things where news could come out and completely blow this pattern that I was just talking about out of the water. So that's just one thing to always keep in mind is when you have stocks like this, they're not Microsoft, they're not Tesla, they're not Lulu, they're not Spy, they're not Roblox, even Affirm, like any of these stocks that have pen. They don't have longevity to them. They have speculative news, rockets, that kind of stuff. So it's to be expected to see this type of price action. So any okay, so looks like you have flushed out of that. I know Sushi in our chat demolished this trade. So yeah, he rode this forever, it seemed like. So you had what looked to be a pretty nice cup and handle. Nice rounded bottom here. It's pretty textbook. You also get a nice 3 times or a little pennant breakout right here. I like to kind of look at the previous price action to get an idea of how it behaves. Okay, so we got a little pretty pennant there. Nice breakout. Of course, I think this was on the social sentiment highlight. And now it looks like shorts have gained control. One thing that you can do, I don't always throw it up, but it is your volume profile. Let me throw it back up. Oops, messed it up. Can I get my fixed range volume profile, please? Okay, apparently forgot how to do this. I like the one on TOS where you click it and it automatically appears. Let's see if they got it in the fig here. What I would recommend, because I don't really use, obviously you can tell I don't use fixed volume, especially not on TradingView. One of the reasons why is because it's not like an automatic like indicator. I don't even really know how to set it up. But what you want to do is you want to see the level of volume that you have up here at the top. If you're looking for any type of rebound, I think you're at a potential bounce level once you get down to around 564. I don't know what type of sentiment this took off on, and whether or not it's going to see continuation from these levels. It does appear that based off of the angles, right? You see this first initial bounce here, you get a higher low here. Even with this bear flag, if you do manage to bounce, then you've almost fallen back into that pennant shape. So, and as far as the fixed volume, I'll have to go and have Atlas show me how to do this because I kind of forgot. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit better. I don't like that necessarily. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. So definitely a lot of selling happening up here. Definitely heavy bears taking over at this point, and then I would even say similar action happening at these levels. So I would suspect you're gonna at least pull back to around 564. The price action on this, like I said, I don't know about the company in general, but as far as the price action is concerned, it looks like it's had its push up or its run for the time being. I'm not even really sure if it was a catalyst that pulled it back, but I would suspect that 564 and even 550 are going to be the very first two levels that you see your first initial bounce on. Oh, dude, you nice. You did any good job. Okay, so we have Docu. Let's see what Docu's got cooking up right here. Daily. Okay. Uh they had earnings, correct? Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Let me use this as a intuitive lesson because those of you who feel like there's a textbook way to get into this market or that reading a book and learning one strategy is going to that's going to be the thing. No, like there is a instinctual, right? And the reason why I'm trying to be aware of some of the things that I do so I can explain them as I do them, like this, right? My mind, I see, I see. Not only do I see one, two, three, four candles sitting at a particular price level, but I also see a wick, right? That is from 282 to 286 and represents that same price range as these candles, right? And you also notice that they almost have an angle to them. That'll give me an indication that there's likely a support right there. A second indication or extra level of um, verification for me, right, is going to be whether or not there's a major moving average nearby. And so that's what I see at the moment now is a nice support bounce here. So it looks like you got a classic ascending triangle, a nice step up in volume, a good catalyst to send Docu to the upside with a good idea of where sellers are sitting. Sellers are currently sitting at 214.65. Um, let's see. Right there. So you got two wicks off of that level. What would what would be funny? It wouldn't be funny, but it's probable is that they have the bodies right here and that the real resistance is the 315. So you could see one last pullback. Let me see is my hollow candles. Also, charting. Those of you who haven't heard me say this already, if you're having trouble charting and you need help or you just haven't figured like the chart doesn't make sense, do that. Okay, turn off all your moving averages like so and start charting like that. You see how much easier that is? In fact, it may even give you a clearer idea of where said. So, I mean, look at this. Underneath those candles is the price range line. Don't be scared to do this, okay? I see the inverse head and shoulders as well. Now that you just said that big stepper, I can see. So this could be a symmetrical triangle or ascending triangle, like you said, right? All three are bullish, right? That's a shoulder, that's a head, that's a shoulder. You still have that nice downtrend, right? Three higher lows. three higher or three higher lows and three higher lower highs, right? Nice breakout here. So we're just going to go ahead and want to clear that 310, clear that 315, and I think we could see the 330, 335 range. I think what's important is probably to look at the price. Actually, hold on a second. Yeah. What's that? Who? Jello. Oh, I guess. Yeah. You have water. I need that. That's where you're looking. Can I have some water? Thank you. No, a bowl of water would be great. The dog bowl. Sorry, y'all. Oh, you can't see that, but it's the best. Sorry, you can't see that. It's premiere. Okay. Sorry, guys. So anyway, let's go back to my candles. So looking at this setup right here, this is actually a great setup. As far as the inverse head and shoulders, you had a gap get filled. You have earnings, which is usually for any type of swing trading. So what could we potentially do? I can't see the options change right now. Thank you. But I would suspect that looking at this setup right now, if we get that confirmation break, I don't like how far away the 9-day moving average is lagging behind, which means this isn't going to be a straight line trade, but it should open up some really good opportunities for scalps. I think above the 315 or even 320 level will probably begin consolidation up there, if that's the next level. Now, one thing that we could potentially do in measuring, right? So let's just take a brief, let's gauge how far Docu could potentially go. So we're gonna measure, right? This is how I'm gonna do this. This is a well-known strategy, right? So based off of the current price, right? And this run, right? Using this to measure the projection or the projected run, we could see around 11% run to around 345. So I don't know what the options are, but this is where somebody with um obviously this is more expensive stock, but this is where you could take a leap um October, December for that range of 344. And then set up some type of bull spread, scalping underneath, set up a position because this looks good to go. And I mean, it is in price exploratory mode. It is one of those stocks that we know some of our favorite senators are bullish on. So it has the makings for greatness. Just need to see that price action confirmation, and we need to see continuation after earnings because a lot of times they'll flip the script and they'll dump it on you. So just be careful. But looks good. I like it, Big Stepper. We'll go ahead and we'll slap a star next to that one, and we'll keep that one on watch as well. Shout out to Big Stepper. Appreciate you, brother. He's one of the admins of the chat for those of you not in our Discord. He'd be slinging out the fire. All right. Ticker lots. What are some good YouTube channels to watch and learn about trading? Hold on a second. Patrick Boyle is one of my favorite traders. I like him a lot. I think he's a little bit more honest than most of your traders that you're gonna find. Trading View itself, Tastyworks and TOS both have really good videos on their YouTube channels for your average everyday strategies or trading, those type of things. So, okay. Progressive? Yeah, for sure. Also, we are swinging Sony and LZ. Those of you who don't are not in the Discord, those are two of the swings that we're trading, and we're going to be continuing to watch. Uh, do I think PLTR can hit $50 end of year? It depends on how if we pull back and how hard and when and how far. So maybe. I think it's more than a $50 company. I think it's an $80 to $85 company currently right now at its valuation, but I could be wrong. I am a PLTR bull. Yeah, many scalps to BYND. Okay, so we got mRNA. This one, hey, I think we might have nailed this analysis the last time we talked about this. And one thing that I had somebody ask me is whether or not this was going to end up being a bear flag, right? Now, normally on a bear flag, I would want to see more of like this, right? Something like that. And that's not natural to this setup. There's a very definitive line, right, that we're sitting at, and a very definitive support. So I'm leaning towards the 1, 2, 3 times in a break with a rounded bottom setup. So mRNA is I imagine if the booster shots end up going through, which inevitably they would be, should be. I don't know. Actually, I take back the should be. I have no medical experience, so I don't know anything, and nor do I have any opinion, so I never said that. But I do think that the talk of continued boosters, or boosters in the future, could turn Moderna and allow this rounded bottom to continue to the upside. But as far as the price action is concerned, you do have a MACD rollover here. And I'm not hyper reliant on the MACD, but it can serve as a good indicator. Let's see. Let me go see where our pivot's at. Ooh, very nice. So you actually have broken above your pivot point. Your pivot point is going to be like your trampoline, or your brick wall. So it either brick walls you, right? And you see that this particular line, right? This, hold on. This one right here, right? That's where we've been pent up. And think of it like that, pent up, right? Buying, buying, buying. This is where the smart people buy after the dump. They buy, and then if you end up taking off here, right? That's when people retail, everybody else starts pushing the stock to the upside. So honestly, it really looks good. It looks good for a nice slow roll back up to those previous highs. I could be wrong, and if we do end up getting some type of rejection back down to support around 387.50, depending on the day and the time, highly likely that you see further downside, but that's only in that case. So, okay, let's look at NVIDIA and chart NVIDIA here. All right, so I have speculated and I am continuing to speculate. Again, I could be wrong. I think this might end up being inside of some type of rising wedge. This is a purely speculatory resistance line. If we break past it, I will delete this line. I was wrong. Okay. But if we end up bouncing here and we bounce up and hit that 384 or it's likely going to be 380, sorry, 237.75. 237.75 at the height of this channel. But if we end up getting a rejection here, we could see a pullback back down to the 211, and that would potentially be a rising wedge. And that's only if that's set up, if we reject. If we do see further continuation past that like 233, 235 range and into that 237 mark, more than likely this potential pattern is blown. So sorry, I just had a thought, but I don't think that's correct. No, that's not. But that's my thoughts on NVIDIA. I think that just looking at it like bare bones, it has that that bull flag setup. It looks all good. Um, so I'm just double checking my work, making sure I'm not going off the rails here. Okay, so uh just looking at, I just went to the lower time frame so that way I could kind of get an idea of what the lower time frame price action looks like. This is definitely a big consolidation here. So just looking for a push above 230 into that $235 or 235 range before you see your next rejection. Hopefully you break here. If you reject, you could end up seeing that higher time frame rising wedge play out. So that's my thoughts on NVIDIA. Apple. Why go live when no one is watching? Because I'm not concerned with numbers. I'm concerned with the people who want to learn. So I'm not here for the entire internet. Just here for the people who want to learn. Um. All right. So let's look at Apple. I get those type of comments all the time, guys. So I am not feeling super bullish on Apple at the moment. The price action is no bueno in my opinion, but I've seen worse. So just a quick hourly pennant right here, daily time frame. Whoa, slow down there. All right, so pennant there, right? So this is kind of what I was imagining we were gonna end up seeing. Uh, I think a lot of people thought Apple was in some type of rising or in some type of ascending triangle, but this is a breakout. And looking at the channel, guys, I think we have maybe a little bit of a pullback. Maybe we see further consolidation here, right? Flagging as this 9-day moving average kind of catches up. Excuse me. I'm just going to keep this simple. Normally on a breakout, I want to see a bullish moving average close, right? I don't want it to be really far away. Right now, the 9-day moving average for Apple on the daily is at 151. The price is at 154.30. I would like to see the 9-day moving average around 153. It can continue further, but you'll notice that as long as the price stays centered here, so does the price action. As soon as the 9 responds, so does the price. So for me, look at how tight that 9-day moving average is, right? Now, if you look here, it gets too far away, it sits flat, it comes back down to earth. So don't get too excited in thinking that this is going to end up being an immediate breakout. But looking at that lower time frame, you're very, very, very tightly consolidated, and super duper. I mean, this is crazy, and this is Friday's price action, by the way. Just another testament to what I was talking about earlier. Um, mm, Apple releasing iPhone 13. I think we may be bullish. Yeah, we'll be bullish for a minimal amount of time. I don't. I think Apple's priced in around 157. You may see 160. You may, but I doubt it highly. I think that 160 is going to be used as bait. I think they'll use that as a little piece of candies to sprinkle in front of retail's face. But looking at this channel, it's been well respected, so I say that we pull back down eventually. Yeah, I know some people. Yeah, I could care less. Okay, so Alapola. One of my favorite stocks. This is when I bought Alacola. The first time I bought Alacola was right here after earnings. And the reason why was the setup. It was so awesome. 200-day EMA, just like I talked about. See that? Nice consolidation, 9, 20, and 50. Look at that crossover. Sweet. So just in here, the glory days of Alacola. All right, so let's see here. Okay, so I'm gonna go down to the hourly here. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so it looks now this is probably running off of infrastructure, right? So you have infrastructure plays happening. You have made consistent flags. Yes. Yeah, David, that is a great question. That is an absolutely phenomenal question. I'm going to highlight that. So it is very common for the price to stay close to its. If you think about the data in itself, right? If you have the 9-day moving average, right? That's 9 days of data. Um, which means that you're using less data to create that line. So if it's far away and it's still using that data, that means the price is lagging and you want it to catch up to the price action. You don't want it lagging behind too far. Um, so that's why when I fear a pullback on a swing trade, I go to a higher time frame and I make sure that as long as we're above our 9, we're still in trend. And what I'll do is if I'll go find the price action or the price where that nearest bullish average is, and if it's far enough away, I'll scalp it to the downside using weeklies in order to protect my long swing. So yeah, we'll look at FUV. We just got the looks like the Nikkei or the Japanese markets just hit a new high. Sorry, I just yep, Japan stock gains right now 30,000. Uh Crazy. They just hit 30. Yeah, of course. When charting, what makes you choose which time frame to look at first and when? What makes you choose it next? And then what makes you choose the next? Got you. Okay, so that's a good question. When I think one of the reasons why, so like let's say Manny says uh I'm scalping Roblox or Roku, right? And I haven't looked at Roku. I don't know what Roku. I haven't seen the price. I don't know anything about it. For me, I have to go and look at a higher time frame. And so if it's a shorter expiration trade, and normally I don't want to trade something if I don't have a plan, but it happens because I'm looking for momentum and I know how to identify momentum and whether or not we're going to see continuation. I've traded a good handful of stocks: Microsoft, Apple, Roku, Facebook, Beyond Meat, all of these other ones that move very quickly, and obviously gotten used to identifying that type of strength. But for me, whenever I am first looking at a stock, the reason why I'm going to the daily, that's usually going to be the predominant uh the predominant time frame in order to get the big picture, right? To Battlefield, I need to see the entirety of it before I make a move, make a plan. And in this case, right, like if Alacola doesn't really show a great setup, and I can't really identify the trend, okay, the trend's choppy, it looks ugly, I might go ahead and step out to the monthly, right, where I can see a little bit clearer on what may be happening. So here on the weekly, right, let's go back out to the daily. So the daily, come back here, you little shit. Okay, so the daily kind of ugly, right? So yeah, you see a little rounded bottom there, a little pullback. I can definitely see where this could be a support, but you could go out to the weekly, and what it's going to do, and this is what all higher time frame, lower time frames do, is they consolidate things in a way where you can see the overall picture, right? And so you get Alacola, nice weekly flag, still stays in range, still holds its bullish trend, bounces off, you get a new higher high. And this is during the whole infrastructure inflation craziness that's happening at the moment. So when I'm first initially looking at a stock, I'm going to be looking at a higher time frame, usually the daily. Then let's say I'm looking for a swing trade on the stock. I'm immediately going to go down to, I didn't mean to go to the hourly. For me, I'm not going to spend so much time on the daily, but I'm going to go down to the 4 hour, because the 4 hour, I can see a little bit more detail as far as where these ranges were, as far as where what these supports look like, whether or not there was any wicks off of them, et cetera, right? And that's predominantly for swing trading. Now for scalping, anything like that, the hourly is going to be what I know about, right? I'm going to know what the setup is on the hourly first, because that is where I'm going to be watching next to my 5 and my 1, right? Because when I scalp, I keep the 1, the 5, and the hourly up. That's me. That's my preference. That's not a rule. That's not how things are supposed to be done. That's just how I like to trade, because I like to get the hourly up there because it cools me down sometimes, right? So if I'm trading next week's expiration and I'm riding an uptrend, it's going to give me a little bit more peace of mind than the 1 minute will, right? So uh so I would just say the type of trade that's being presented. So Sony, right, or Microsoft, those are good companies to go long on. Apple, good companies to go long on. Not just a swing trade, but go long, leap it, right? So it's just like buying shares. You're just renting equity. Those are always going to be the higher time frames. So, but if you are a day trader, then you're going to want to know what the daily looks like, but really be focused on that hourly and 5 minute price action. So, okay, so let's keep it moving here. We got cat. As far as Alacola is concerned, hourly looks like you got a little bit of a pennant here that could extend itself. This is on its third tap. Let me get rid of this one right here. So this is the third, right? 1, 2, 3. I would like to see 47.37 cleared. Get above that. I think if you make a higher high, which is going to be 47.75, get above that 47.75 and go for the wick fill. I think at that point, you could see some solid continuation. The Dow has been trading in range, industrial sector. That is one of those things where if it continues to trade in range, which we're still in a way just doing the same here, you may see one more pullback to 46.18 or 46.18. At that point, you would have basically completed a flag. So if you look here, right? So that would be a flag, bounce there, and that's where you can kind of mark $46 break. You're likely going to head back down to the downside 44. Above that, right, a bounce back up, more than likely you're going to break once you clear 47.37. So, okay. Cat. Um, all right. So let's go look at the higher time frame. So cat has been in a steady, this is something to remember. Cat has been in a steady uptrend for quite some time. Now I want you guys to pay attention to how cat trades after it gets done going on its run. From its run from $58 in January of 2016 to January 2019, right, where it ends its run at 172, then proceeds to trade like a crackhead for the next years, 3, 4 years, right? Before it finally hits a incredible low, dumping all the way back to 88% or $88 before making a rebound all the way to 245. Now, most of this price action operated on or near the 200-day EMA. Now, we're in a different climate than we were back then, and we're dealing with a whole different slew of scenarios. Obviously, infrastructure bills are going to allow companies like CAT to benefit from the reconstruction of America, if you will. But at the moment, as long as you stay above the 200, you're still okay. Below the 500 HMA, that's a different story because the 500, obviously taking 500 days of data compared to the 200, is above you now. Now, I don't have it on here, and I don't know why, but we're going to go ahead and pull out the whole ribbon indicator. And this is where I like to use this. And I need to go change the inputs. I think that's 4. Yep. Okay. So the overall trend now, as far as I can tell, this is rather accurate in determining the overall trend. So we've stayed green, right? Even as we fell below said whole ribbon indicator, we have stayed green all in all. And those of you who are new or never seen this whole ribbon indicator, this indicator in itself is a momentum indicator. It's also like a liquid moving MACD, right? So it's going to give me an indication of the strength behind the move. It's also going to use a moving average, so it's going to be respected by the price action. You can see bounces off of it, rejections off of it, uses as acting as support. And obviously, when those two moving averages flip, it will turn red, and the thickness of said ribbon will give me an indication of the strength behind the move. So right now, it is currently above us. It is currently red, and right now we would need to, as this nears this price action that we're at around 210, we would need it to continue to pinch and either A, climb above that 222 mark, so start to climb. And if you go look, we would need to clear above that anyway, because if we were going to make a rounded bottom right there, that first initial bounce, we would need to clear that bottom of 221.50 in order to see some type of cup and handle or just a reclamation of the 250 level. So that's my indicator, my thoughts on cat here. So why? Why do you say that? Profits to go into jail. I don't know. It's pretty wild. I hope I hope not. All best wishes to him, I guess. All right. Okay. We got cat. 200 EMA, by the way, is at 206, basically below 200. Things are gonna get messy for cat. That's where that last wick is. So, uh, you're in range right now. I would say above 215. you could see a pop back up to 221. So Robert, only if you have a family. Okay. BKG. Oh, I'm sorry. FUV is a short squeeze potential. I'm hoping that sucker will get squeezed one of these days. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good right now. And I actually have FUV equity. It was just one of those things where I actually ended up taking profit. Everything else I got right now, I might just like sell covered calls or something. I really don't even care. I actually like the company a lot. I like it. Like I think it has a future in America and in our system. So we have a gap above us. I'm not quite sure if that's going to happen. We are making a bit of a bear flag. If this bear flag ends up playing out, then you probably will return to the $10 level. Under 10, you have a couple different levels at 10, 965. This bottom out right here at 780, and then of course the previous low is around 535. Victor, you can restart this, and yeah, if you guys are on the TikTok, Sim has posted stuff. Just send me that stuff. I'll take a look at it and see if there's any viable claims in there. Yeah, if you guys are on TikTok, the link is in the bio. There's an actual screen that looks like that. Well, that's me right there. People on YouTube are like, what does this dude do? Okay, so let's keep keep it going. Stock ran up with the rest of our EV stocks the last cycle that we went through. I think that they still don't have enough of a company to uh, start making a feasible gain case, right? Where they actually start making moves to the upside. Um, they are going to probably be taking profit on shareholders as far as, to fund these projects that they're looking to get into, which they're viable projects. I do see a channel here that you're trading in, but you have 1, 2, 3 taps. You've already knocked those taps out. And so you're at that lower part of the channel. Those of you guys in the chat, you guys know that we have that standard deviation channel that we like to talk about sometimes. And this is a great example of said deviation channel. So you almost just have two channels, right? And you trade below, and you can trade in here and then pop back up with this. And that example that we use on Microsoft, same thing. You guys can't really see it. It's stupid, but yeah, something like that. So, but anyway, so as far as FUV is concerned, like I said, anywhere below $10, and you're verified to probably go lower, start trading to the downside as you approach the next earnings in November, and or this could be another place where you bounce at 10.30, $10, and potentially head back up to that resistance around 15. So CEI, yes, that has a good chart. We'll look at that one. That the entire internet's on that one. Oh shit. Excuse my language. So I'm venturing to guess that is just awful. That's just the worst. Their market makers are asses. So this looks to me like a pretty obvious rising wedge. This was the news that we got last week. I do trade pre-market, yes. Um, this was the news last week that we got, right? Shot DKG and then they dumped it. Not only did they dump it, they just unnecessarily took it back down just to bounce it right back up to the previous high. So, people who bought here and sold here were pissed. But that's essentially what this rising wedge is meant to do, is to get people to FOMO in, right? So you sell, it goes back up, you buy back in, then you finally are like, fuck it, I'm just holding it, and then they just dump it, right? And that just really gets to you. I would suspect that looking at this price action, keep it simple on yourself. Above $62, really, is 61.75, $62. I would really say 62 because there's a chance it could go even higher. I want to see a candle close there, but honestly, DKG looks like it's gonna pull back, and below $60 is where that will likely happen. So, uh, um, BBIG is pumped by the gurus of social medias, um, the people on the Twitter and shit. My honestly, I mean, when charting things like this, you'll only do the best you can do, I guess. I honestly don't really see much of a chart after this type of movement. I do see a very obvious like downtrend right here. So you do see like almost like a flag type setup here. So you can wait and watch for a potential break in downtrend. And that may come right here. So you could watch it above the wicks. 866. Ooh. 866, excuse me. You can watch above there, 870, and then look for that return back up to 1033. So uh that's only now it could end up being it could end up, I don't know if there's a real price target on this, but if you, because this looks pretty controlled, if you do pull back and you do bounce, I would suspect that above 872, $9, that you will take a solid crack at that resistance for the breakout. So, oh shit. No, I got that one. MDB. MongoDB. What the fuck? Okay. All right, it's gone. So this is price exploratory mode. It's probably gone the distance. I don't know. So this is where you have to get a feel. This is where there's no textbook. Like you have to go and look at where the price targets are, how were their earnings, why did buyers respond this way? Is there still momentum left in it? Because you have a good volume day afterwards, but you shoot up and trade flat. So, my opinion, 521.50. But don't be surprised if you see some type of pullback. In the meantime, um, that's just likely what's going to happen after a big run up. So I would suspect that a pullback to around 500, below 500, 489 or 490.50. That's the 50-day EMA. I'm going to use the hourly here, and that's going to be at 480. So 480, 20-day EMA. Normally, this stock trades relatively flat with relatively low volume, and pretty much every earnings. So this is where it's important to go look back. You'll get a pretty strong spike. So here, moving from 270 on earnings all the way up to 318. So 270 to 318, and then making a nice steady run to the upside. Here, you pretty much parabolically rip from 400 all the way to 500. That's a $100 run, and honestly, pretty much the extent of this run all in one. So whether you get upside or I would honestly be suspecting some choppy trading conditions as profit taking occurs. Might get a pretty strong pullback initially, but that's $100 run. I'd have to know exactly why. Oh, I'm getting tired. Okay. Um, RXT. Oh, my phone died. Damn it. Um, so we will be, those of you, we will be discussing there are some new stuff coming. Um, Obviously, we're probably going to be shutting off the Discord for a while, and not like permanently, but as far as the new members are concerned, what I'm going to be focusing on is getting the people who are in the chat currently met with, talked to, all that good stuff, and getting them comfortable whether they want to be in or out of the chat, and just really focusing on that. And that's probably going to start here in the next week or two, and just for my sake as well. I can't, with the way that we do things, we can't accept everybody and stuff like that all at once. So we'll talk more about that at the end. But I do have other. I put out a poll for me to basically give people more access to one-on-ones with me, even having direct communication with me and personal access and stuff like that, and also me doing custom videos for people. So we'll talk more about that at the end of the video. RXT rack space. So this one looks like it bottomed out on earnings, all the way down to $13. This thing's traded all the way up at 50 or 25 to 26.50. Gap above you. The gap goes all the way to 16.59. There's a pretty obvious downtrend here. That downtrend has not been touched in a while. Okay, so what it looks like to me, and I was trying to get a good idea of whether or not this was some type of massive weekly setup. So see how the daily is kind of choppy, not really easy to figure out. So now I'm going to go to the weekly. Okay, so I think a 9-day move, 1634, just like I was talking about. 1650 is where the gap gets filled. I imagine you'll get this gap filled. You're going for that gap fill. You're holding on to the 9 right here. You got a MACD rollover. You got a lot of room on the RSI. You did just have earnings and you didn't make any moves lower than $13. And like I said, you have that big gap above you. So it may be slow, but I would say 1650 is a good target, at least between now and towards the end of September. So BBIG and BIH. Thoughts on RLC? I'll take a look at it in just a second. I just posted my Patreon. Okay, so VIH, this is another one of those acquisition corps. This is one of those things, man, where I can't. And to those of you in the future, if your stock looks like this, there's nothing I can do. There's not a chart right now. It's pure, unadulterated price action. You might say, okay, cool, got a curl or a cup, right? That's good. That shows strength. It's just as simple as waiting for the next resistance break, 1175, which is where your bodies are resting here. and where these candles are resting here. So you want to see a break there. Then you'll look at the wick fill, right? Like 1215 and 1250. You would want to fill those. This is obviously based off news. Um, you might be able to get away with charting something here on the 5 minute. So there's that. And maybe perhaps somewhere in this range, but I would just leave your support right there. And in fact, let me pull this back up. So, I mean, that's what I'm guessing right now. There. So, set an alert at 1175 and below 1150, you're likely going to go pull back to around 1131. So, all right, last few ones right here. Amazon or CEI, excuse me. CEI, I guess this one's Zach Morris squeeze. This is coming out of a long channel. This one's been split a whole bunch. The volume is relatively high, bouncing, like I said, off that 9-day EMA. I mean, you gotta. This is another one of those penny stocks. You've got a nice push up, a nice flag here. It's riding the 9 and the 20 on the hourly time frame. It's just pure price action. Now, of course, the 3 days that everybody on Twitter is talking about it, that's when the volume is the highest. So you're either a winner in this trade or you're a loser. So if you get in and you get in on as it starts to rebound, that's on you. But this thing, if you haven't bought it down in the 50-cent range, 60-cent range, then at $1, $2, then you probably, or anywhere around there, you should probably just back off. So all right, Amazon. Amazon is due for a little bit of a bounce. It didn't end up falling to the downside. It does have a flag. I imagine that Amazon is going to rip tomorrow above 349 or 340, 34.90. I think Amazon could rip all the way into the $3,500 range. That's if we break this downtrend. So 30. I'll say just 3,500. So 3,500. That's the price target. I suspect that we could see something like this. So it's a short week. So Monday, Tuesday, somewhere in here. Wednesday, or excuse me, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I think we'll chop Friday. And then where we go from there is mystery. We'll have to look at the price action. One thing that you should also pay attention to is the fact that we broke or we're below this support on the daily. So that being said, we're retesting it, trying to fill the rest of the gap. Gap's not quite yet filled. 35.50, and then of course 3600, and that gap would probably be entirely filled. So this is also the 200 or the whole ribbon indicator. You can see it's holding underneath that as well. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here on Amazon. So this is your hourly support. So bounce up to 350, 3,500. So I'm ultimately bearish on Tesla's, like, the price action's just bad um compared to previous runs. I think at this point, if Tesla doesn't see a breakout of this flag and a break past 750, then 800's out of reach. Other than that, this range right here, um, I can only speculate, but I would say it's a psychological number, so above 750. Above 750, and you are more than likely going to see the 770, 780 range on Tesla. But I want you to take a look at the overall trend. It has been really difficult for Tesla to actually make any new highs and hold them, especially since we've been in this channel since the last earnings. So if we end up rejecting and breaking below 711, 710, we will find ourselves back in the 685 range. So it's Tesla 3,000 this week. Yeah, right. Um, all right. So that's pretty much it. We'll cover everything else in the morning. As far as stocks that we're watching. Um, those of you who hold on one second. Um, so real quick, I'm just going to talk about this briefly. So in the future, we've now integrated our chat with dark pool flow, option flow. We're trading live every single day. We also are going to be hosting Q and A's probably twice a week for those in the Discord. For those who are not in the Discord, um, we I do have my own personal Patreon, right? I've made this by request. And one of the reasons why is I feel that I cannot adequately help everybody with a one-on-one and still have time to be a human on my own, which requires is required, and also I need to do that in order to chart, in order to find these setups that I'm good at finding and trade them with you guys. So what I'm going to be doing is doing more group Q and A's. I'm going to work with the people that are currently in the chat. So if they are already in the chat, I will continue to do one-on-one with them, one-on-ones, and group Q and A's as needed. And that will obviously for the next couple of months or until they decide, you know, they feel good about it or they just don't want to trade, whatever the case may be. But for those people who do want to, I have basically it's going to be personal access because, and there's only 20 spots left. I'm only allowing for 20 people, and that's going to be monthly. And it's going to have my phone number. Um, I will probably be doing about 5 or 6 videos for said person personally. So like a good 6 to 7, maybe, or probably a longer than that, a 10-minute video on the watch list or stocks that they're looking at. And then again, there will be like Zoom calls, um, commissions. Those who do follow this particular personal access, I'll probably throw them t-shirts because it's going to be more expensive, obviously, because it's going to be and not to mention you'll be included in the Discord. So if you're in this tier, or the part of the 20 people who are in there, you'll have access to the Discord. But this is so that way I can, the people who want to take it seriously, I can spend the time and allocate the time in order to help each. That doesn't mean that I won't do one-on-ones with the people who are in the chat or people in the future, but for the time being, I'm going to be focusing on small, not big. So most of the Discord will be shut off. We won't allow any more new members. This won't happen anytime, probably in the next week or two. But that way I can really focus on talking to people, stuff like that. So I can only trade once a week, so I will say that for someone who is more active. Things. Yeah, of course. If you're not, this is for people who are either actively trading, retired, and trading, or work from home when they're trading, and they want to be able to speak to me directly, and that includes like personal access. So like video chats and stuff like that. And I have to keep it at a number that's reasonable for me in order to still make sure that I'm with the Discord and stuff like that. But this obviously a little bit different. So this is specifically, and those of you who do sign up under the personal access, that will give you 3 months in the Discord. Even if you only stay for a month, then it will still give you 3 months. So uh anyway, you guys are welcome to check that out. There'll be some changes coming. I literally just made it today. But this is so that I can really, really help people one-on-one and kind of make a little give the chat a little bit more organization, because I got a lot going on and I need to tone it down. So but anyway, we'll be doing pre-market prep as normal. So we'll see you guys as usual tomorrow morning. I will be try to be up around 8 o'clock. So if you guys are up and ready to go, ready to trade, I think tomorrow will be a little bit exciting. So yeah. All right, guys. You guys have a wonderful evening. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate all the likes. Always support the channel. You guys are awesome. And I will catch you guys tomorrow morning. Peace.